Today we're going to begin taking a look at the two vowel pattern. And one thing that you can do is, again, collect words, put them on this chart, and then once you have a few piled up with some of the different vowel combinations together, then you can begin to take a look and see what's happening with this pattern. And we do that by trying to get the child to notice what's happening, and we do this through asking some questions. So one of the questions you might ask are, how many vowels are in this pattern? And they'll notice that there are two. Well, that's great because it's called the two vowel pattern, so that makes it pretty easy for us to remember that the two vowel pattern is going to have two vowels in it. You also want to ask the child what other pattern had two vowels in it, and the child might think about it and say silent E. It does. And then you want to be able to compare and contrast those two patterns. Where are the vowels in comparison to each other? After you've made those comparisons, taken a look at those, then you want to start thinking about what sound the vowel is making. And the child will notice that it is saying its name, that the first vowel is saying its name, and the second vowel is being completely quiet. Again, that's very similar to what was happening with that silent E pattern. That second vowel, which happened to be the E, was completely quiet. Well, the same thing has happened here with the two vowels. The second one is being completely quiet. So you can show that to the student or your child, and you can take a look at a couple of different examples and show them. You can write out the word and have the two vowels next to each other. I always underline it so they can see this is the two vowel pattern. Then I'll put an arrow over the O, which is the first one, so they know that this is the one that's going to make it sound. And then sometimes I will put an X over the A so they can see that the A is just going to be completely silent. So after you've practiced with a few different words, you're ready to introduce the chant that goes along with this pattern, which is when two vowels go a-walking, the first one does the talking and says its name. Now, in a couple of days, you might want to do another activity where you're really taking a look at this pattern, what's going on with it. You can take some words from this chart, put them on index cards, do sorts. You can do a sort where you just compare the AI and the EA words. You can do a sort where you do all of them together, but it might be better if you take two of the patterns or three of the patterns and have the child then sort them by the two vowels, talk about the two vowel pattern, the sound that it's making, and again, you want to be able to have the child to be thinking about what's happening with this two vowel pattern. Don't go into the next two vowel pattern, which is the whiners, yet. Really practice with some of these words and get them comfortable with this one before you move into the whiner pattern, because the whiner pattern is a lot more difficult.